Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LFC Transfer Room with myself, Louis Fell, for today's Premier League game. Liverpool away from home this week against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Once again, as it is every game now, another massive fixture for us going into probably the worst international break ever at the end of January. With Man City dropping points as well, Liverpool desperately need to keep pace. We do have 2 games in hand, of course, and if we were to win both of those, we'd be about 6 points behind Man City, which is still pretty far considering their quality. But at the end of the day, we can only control what we can control. So we've got to continue doing what we do best, which is play amazing football and win games. So going through today's starting 11 with kickoff just under 13 minutes away. Alisson back in goal after getting a little break midweek for the Carabao Cup. Alexander-Arnold. Joel Matip is back after going off with a precaution against Arsenal. So a lot of people slightly worried about that because we do know his injury record isn't the best. So is it worth risking him? It's a good talking point. He partners Virgil van Dijk, the ever-present Van Dijk, and Andy Robertson at left back. The midfield remains unchanged from the midweek game. Fabinho, Henderson, and Curtis Jones. And then up top, we have Oxlade-Chamberlain coming back into the team. Diogo Jota, of course, and Roberto Firmino keeps his place as well. So on the bench, Kelleher returns to his regular spot. Canate, Gomez, James Milner, Minamino on the bench once again. Tsimikas, Gordon, Williams, and Tyler Morton all on the bench today. So how are we feeling, Reds? Let me know. It's, again, an exciting one. Palace in a good place this season with Patrick Vieira's first season in the Premier League. Conor Gallagher is a massive threat. However, they are missing a couple of key players that might restrict his ability to be that true out-and-out box-to-box midfielder. So we'll see how it unfolds. Liverpool with a pretty strong squad, I'd call it. As strong as we can get without the AFCON boys, of course. And if you are reading the banner underneath me, you'll know that it is expected that Thiago and Elliott will be back in the squad as soon as our next Premier League game after the international break. Although I feel like our first weekend is the FA Cup after the international break. I might be wrong on that one. But if so, they should be back for that one as well. Have especially Elliott having a few extra weeks in first team training. So maybe not starting the game, but certainly getting a few minutes off the bench. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So, we're in a cup final. We're just about in a title race, maybe, depending on today's results as well. Champions League, we're in the last 16 and looking strong for that. And we're still in the FA Cup as far as things stand. So, there's reasons to be positive, maybe a lot more positive than a lot of us were a couple of weeks ago. The worst point probably coming after that 0-0 draw. Got a few people coming into the live chat, which is always good to see. Please do get involved if you are watching. Matthias, good to see you. You were in the pub for the Arsenal game, and thanks for having a pint for me. Very much appreciated. I restrained myself from having a drink. I think I'll save that for the final. If I'm going to get legless, I want it to be for a good cause. But we got the result that we both wanted, Matthias, and glad you had a good time. We did as well on the chat, so it's good to have you back for that. And Anthony as well, thank you for being here once again. Great to see you, and I hope you're looking forward to the game. So Matthias has gone for a 3-1 win to Liverpool. I tweeted just before that this game could be a potential banana skin. Crystal Palace, I know that we got that big win over them last season. Was it 7-0 or something crazy? But we're obviously the heavy favourites going into this game, even with our restrictions in terms of players. But that they'll fancy their chances if they can get off to a good start, maybe an early goal, an early break. It should be interesting. But with just under 10 minutes now, look at my new setup, eh? It's pretty cool. Got proper lighting now, so no more graininess when the sun goes down. You'll be able to see me perfectly clear, and I'm a lot closer to the new camera. But hopefully it's a little bit clearer and a better picture. High quality is all we provide on the LFC transfer room. Good to see some people in just joining now. Take a look at the starting 11 if you haven't already seen it. Gary Richards, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Must win of Liverpool today. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not really of the belief that we're in a title race anymore, but stranger things have happened. I think maximum between now and the end of the season, we could probably drop like 4 points. If we were to drop some of those points today, that's pretty much it. Gone. I mean, it probably ended a couple of weeks ago, but it's the hope that kills you, you know. Anthony says, not confident with Ox starting, but should still have enough quality to win. So I think in the previous game against Brentford, I was maybe a little bit harsh on him. I think off the ball, he did do some important work that allowed us to get the 3-0 win. But still, I'm so sad for Takumi Minamino. Honestly, he's the one player who's not doing well that I really am rooting for, because I don't know, he's just so likable and innocent, bless him. And once again, he doesn't start. I mean, when he knew that the African boys were going to AFCON, he must have been licking his lips thinking, right, get my foot down, get a shoulder through the door, or whatever the saying is, and I'm going to make a position mine, or at least give it a bloody good go. And he doesn't even get to start in the game. You know, it's horrible. Gary says, closing the gap on City next season is the title win. So maybe we're in the same boat, Gary. But I agree. You know, regardless of what Man City do, we've got to go and win every game, haven't we? Q-Mars, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I've had a nice lie-in this morning. It's just a good day of football, isn't it? I've got this one, which I'll get to watch with all of you guys. Hopefully get a good result. But then we've got Chelsea versus Tottenham afterwards. So it's a proper Super Sunday. So yeah, I'm having a good day. I hope you are too. Matthias says, yeah, I can't see us catching City, but it's not over till the fat lady sings. And my ex ain't sang yet. Bloody hell. Savage already. We're not 10 minutes in pure savagery. So the other games, 2:00 ones, are Arsenal versus Burnley and Leicester versus Brighton. I mean, I'm just gutted it's an international break. Like, there's normally not one until at least February, March time. For the one at the end of January. So we still say after today, it's 2 weeks until our next game. It's just crap, isn't it? Most horrible things. International breaks. No one likes internationals until it's actual tournaments. Friendlies and qualifiers can just get in the bin. And Matthias says, bacon sandwich and football, good Sunday afternoon. Now just need a Liverpool win. Hell freaking yes. Kemal says, same here. I think there's something in Taki. He showed good form when he played regularly for Southampton. Well, for us, he's the Carabao Cup king, and he couldn't even get a start on Thursday in favour of Cade Gordon. And I was so mixed on that, because obviously I want our academy players to get game time and experience, and I love seeing an academy prospect in a starting 11, but the fact I had to be over Taki just broke my heart. Bless him. I mean, he's looked good when he came on against Arsenal. He looked better than I've seen him for quite some time. He was actually holding up the ball when put under physical pressure, and he was getting himself out of a couple of tight situations. I liked that. And I think he only gets to that point with regular game time. Gary wants Kylian Mbappe and Jared Bowen in the summer. Next summer, FSG sign Jude Bellingham. Could you imagine if that? I mean, it won't happen, but could you imagine if we signed like both of them and they were unveiled together? So Kylian Mbappe ends up stood next to Jared Bowen for his signing. That's a golden picture, I think. Lucas, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. We're still in a title race because I still expect Man City to drop a few points once the UCL is back in full swing. Remember how paranoid Pep gets during knockout stages? Well, he's kind of gotten better and better, hasn't he? I know what you mean. It was a couple of seasons ago he messed up in the quarterfinals and then the semis and then a final. Because in each one he just made really bizarre decisions. Like in the final he only played Gundogan as a CDM when all season he'd had like a double pivot or something along those lines, or Fernandinho alongside Gundogan in that role. And then in the most important game after a season where they'd won the title and the Carabao Cup, he decided to change it up. Very strange. But you know, they drew yesterday, and that's like good for us. But next game they're going to batter whoever I can't remember who they're playing, but they're going to batter them. They're going to go on another at least 5-game winning run. You know, they're not going to go through a bad patch. Once they're in this part of the season, they don't go through a bad patch. They might drop the odd point here and there, but it's going to be really far between, and we can't lose a game. You know, we have to stay unbeaten and winning 90% of our games between now and the end of the season. Matthias hates international games as well. Our country have done shit in the last few years. Is it America? Is it America, Matthias? Kimon says, I have my mug here full of tea, ready for a chill evening. Yeah, Sunday's a tea, isn't it? Rather than an alcoholic drink. Yes, the players are out on the pitch now and ready. Oh, yeah, of course it's Sweden, Matthias. Apologies. I'd have Haaland over Mbappe. It's interesting. I think Mbappe in his like press conferences or interviews, he comes across as quite like intelligent. But when you see him in those Champions League games, he looks so lazy. Like him, Neymar up top. Like it just wouldn't work at Liverpool unless he was really open to taking instruction from Klopp and changing the way he plays, because the way he plays at PSG just wouldn't fit with what we're trying to do. And we'd be playing with 11 men when we don't have the ball. Kemal says, I remember after winning the UCL, we were thinking we were getting Mbappe. Then I thought maybe we were getting him next year with less money. Dreams fade out really fast. Yeah, it was Mbappe 2020, wasn't it? We all believed, and we all everyone was tracking the flights landing at John Lennon Airport, following SUVs down the motorway that were heading in the general direction of the training ground. That was a fun time, but as you say, it died out quite quickly. Brentford, Burnley, Norwich are the next City games. Then Spurs. Jesus Christ! I mean, talk about a way to get back on track. They're going to get 10 goals minimum in those 3 games, and then I don't know if Spurs are going to be in form or out of form by that point. Liverpool will finish second, 2 points behind City. Oh, if we get that close, that would be worse. That would be almost worse than finishing like 10 points behind them. I think we almost caught up to them. Or I don't know. I don't like the sound of that. Not that I don't want us to win as much as possible. But again, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? And we've got a tiny little bit of hope now, but to be 2 points behind would be quite horrific if we don't win it. So game's still not underway with the way I'm watching it. So if you are watching it live, feel free to pause the game until I catch up with you. I'll let you know the second I kick off. But otherwise, if we can avoid spoilers in the chat for anything major that happens in the game, absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate that. We are just about ready to kick off now. They take the knee, which is applauded. Again, we love that. And we're off. So the last game before the international break. Let's enjoy it. Let's have a good time in the chat. If you're watching and don't feel like commenting, that's absolutely fine. I just hope you enjoy your stay here. But if this is your first time, why not subscribe to us? You know, it's going to be a long time between now and the next game, and we're going to have plenty of content to cover that for you. So subscribe to the LFC Transfer Room, and all your football needs will be met for sure. Good day, Ali. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Very confident in a Liverpool win, which is good to hear. Be a Kimi Räikkönen in 2007 F1 style comeback in the title for us. That is wishful thinking. I've really started to get into the old F1. I think, this season, even though it did end quite sourly for Lewis Hamilton supporters, which I do call myself, I much prefer Lewis over Max Verstappen. Ended a bit sourly, but those last few weeks were pretty incredible from an entertainment perspective, and I think that's going to be, one of F1's biggest sort of fan base boosts in a long time, and I think I'm one of them. I've always had it on in the background, followed loosely, but I'm feeling a lot more into it. Started watching that Drive to Survive as well, which I know is not a good indicator of F1, and I know it's sometimes a little bit misleading. I've heard a lot of people say it over exaggerates some things, puts things out of context, etc. But it's still good entertainment, and it's helping me sort of just get to grips with a lot of the basics as well. Avi, good to see you. I didn't get the notifications. I always missed the game. Oh, bloody hell. Have you got the bell ticked? I think that's the one that gets you the notifications. But if not, do let me know. Lucas says the next round of AFCON Ivory Coast is playing Egypt. And I think Ivory Coast will win. We'll have Salah back very soon. So if that happens, we'll have him back after the international break, won't we? I suppose that's the only good thing about this international break, is that it does mean we can hopefully get more of the AFCON lot back before, without having to play too many fixtures. Gary says Palace have started well, but it's Liverpool coming forward here, and it's a poor ball from Curtis Jones, I think, that puts the ball out of play for a Crystal Palace goal kick. You're not a sporting red hat. Good luck. Don't know what that means, unfortunately. I can't stand Hamilton. I'm a Max Verstappen fan. Kimi was one of my favourite driver. I'm a Ferrari fan, though. Yeah, I'm still finding my footing. I mean, I do, what Lewis Hamilton's done for the sport, and people of colour, I think is very inspiring. And I think he gets a lot of unnecessary hate. He doesn't do anything better or worse than any other driver, particularly as far as I know. I think Max just, I'm jumping to conclusions, but he just strikes me as a bit of an incel. So apologies if there's any Max fans, particularly in the chat. He strikes me as a bit of he's got a lot of victim mentality about him, I think. But anyway, we're not here for F1. We're here for Liverpool. So I'll try not to get into too much of a debate over that. Hyla, good to see you. How are you doing? Looking for a 10th straight victory against Crystal Palace today. Oh, no. You are my favourite statistician, but bloody hell, you can't say things like that. You can't say things like that before the game's got properly underway. You've jinxed it. If we don't win, Hyla, I'm coming back and I'm pinning that comment. But I hope you're doing well all the same. As we come forward here, out on the right-hand side, Trent should get a ball in. He does, out to the back post. Curtis Jones has it. Robertson tries to cross, but it goes over the bar instead. So we don't look like we're doing too badly, Gary, from what I've seen, but I have been focusing on the live chat, I must say. So it's a Liverpool corner now. Sorry, I just got distracted. Liverpool have their first corner of the day, I believe. So we've got a few predictions already. How is everybody predicting this game will go? Oh, Jota was in there, but it just got Henderson. Oh, saved by the keeper. Keeps it 0-0, but again, very positive from the Reds. Matthias has got his signed shirt on from Liam Neeson. Woo! We like that. Yeah, I hope it's good luck. I haven't got my training kit on, which I think we're undefeated when I've worn. I think we've got a 100% win record when I've worn that. But I'm hoping. I don't believe in that stuff. But if we don't win today, I will start to be asking questions. And Hyla says a 4-5-1 system from Palace on home turf. What a bunch of chickens! You know, it's the same with a lot of them, isn't it? But that's what Southampton and a few other teams have shown against City. If you have a go at them, you do actually stand a chance. But if you sit back, it's a question of when you're going to concede. Oh, Van Dijk! A storming header into the top left bins from the corner. All happened very quickly. It was Andy Robertson's cross. Completely unmarked, running onto it from a fair distance, I think. Just outside the 6-yard box, certainly. He starts at the edge of the area, runs in completely unmarked, and then just outside the 6-yard box, gets his head on it. And that is the easiest header he's going to score. Hardly anyone even follows him. And he barely has to get off the ground, gets his head on it, directs it goalwards, and the keeper stands absolutely no chance. So it's a dream start for Liverpool here. Absolutely dreamy. And with the way we've started, who knows? This could be a good result for Liverpool. I won't say too much more than that, though. So Hyla's predicting 5-0. And again, off of the back of these opening 8 minutes, who knows? It could very well be. Oh, yeah, I forgot Liam Neeson. He's a Liverpool fan, right? I'm guessing that's why he was at Anfield, but I'm not sure. I remember seeing that somewhere. Lots of excited people in the chat. Smoothie, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Subscribe and we'll score a few more for you. And that's Robbo's 7th assist in the Premier League this season. Who said he was finished, eh? Who the hell said that? Oh, Oxlade-Chamberlain almost gets to the edge of a in-swinging cross there. So Liverpool looking very comfortable in possession. It's good signs. I mean, unless Crystal Palace decide to really go on the front foot, this could be a long afternoon for them. But what a way to sign off before the international breaks this would be. But thank you to everybody who is in the stream at the moment. It's great to see you all. If you are new, please do make sure that you subscribe. Let your friends know about this place. If you've got any mates who are Liverpool fans as well, it's going to be a long couple of weeks as the internationals, with the international break that's looming. We're going to have plenty of content to keep you tied over as we come forward again. Oh, Henderson goes for his customary strike from outside the box. Back in again by Robertson. Oh, it's a save from Oxlade-Chamberlain's shot. It was a tight angle. He gets it off, and I'm not sure if that's going to be a goal kick or not. I think that's a corner. Was it a save? No, it's a free kick. Goal kick. Bloody hell. We come forward again here. Curtis Jones just gets dispossessed, but it's picked up by Diogo Jota. And Robertson plays it back to Virgil van Dijk. Plays it right to Matip as we maybe switch the play a bit over to this right-hand side. Obviously, Liverpool in no real rush if they don't need to be. And if we can keep the ball as far away from Joel Matip as at all times, that would be fantastic for us. Last thing we need is an injury from him. And I know I think he's on like a new training regime, or he's got a new physiotherapist or something who've worked wonders, but he is overdue an injury. Alexander-Arnold, Oxlade-Chamberlain goes for a strike, which is miles over. Lucas says, I've been loving Gerrard's banter against Everton. Against Everton and Man U. Oh, I mean, he's got it, hasn't he? He's got that managerial sauce. You see him walking up and down the touchline or walking at full time, and you just think, oh, one day in the far future, and I'm talking like 5, 6, 7, 8 years time, he's going to look fucking good doing that for Liverpool. He just oozes class. Crystal Palace almost getting behind Liverpool's backline there, but Van Dijk gets up to intercept the long ball. Gerrard reminds Keemans of a soft-spoken Mourinho. Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. I mean, you just know he knows what he's talking about. Oh, we're through again. Oh, keeper comes out. Oxlade-Chamberlain just not quite fast enough. The ball slightly too long to get on that. She's back. Typical shoot laid on his weak foot, blasting it from outside the box to Rose Eds. Oh, of course. Shoot laden, Shooterson as well. He had to take a shot from outside the 18-yard box, which was deflected. But just back to Gerrard quickly. I think he's made a fantastic start to life at Aston Villa, and obviously he's on that high, that managerial high. But he's had a few defeats against like the big teams, and they've always bounced back to it up to this point. So I think he's got it. You know, whatever that managerial bit of seasoning is, that bit of spice, I think he's got it. Crystal Palace come forward, but Robertson is able to clear that away. I mean, that corner was poorly defended by Crystal Palace there. So much space. I mean, Virgil's like probably our biggest threat from corners. I mean, he doesn't score a great deal, but he's one of our tallest blokes. And he's a good bloody header of the ball. And he was just completely unmarked there. Quick little shimmy and run forward, and he was absolutely clear of any Palace players. Gary says Palace are open, Liverpool will score loads. If we get a second one nice and quickly, that would just kind of settle the game down, I think. And yeah, if we can go on and chalk up a few more, wouldn't be bad, would it? But again, Crystal Palace do get over our high line. Matip wins it, and he is forced to clear it for a Crystal Palace throw-in over on the right-hand side. And Matthias says, when you realise Little Mix have held the European Cup due to Ox more times than Everton have been in it. Little things like that that you just love to see, don't you? Avi thinks Liverpool are going to batter Crystal Palace today like a nice plate of fish and chips. My prediction, 4-0 to Liverpool. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? I mean, this was the team Minamino scored against right before we sent him off on loan, wasn't it? He just doesn't get the luck of the green, that man. So 15 minutes in, Hyla with the stats. 60% possession, 6 shots, 2 on target, 1 goal. Good bloody stuff. Again, if you are new and haven't subscribed yet, please make sure that you do subscribe to the LFC Transfer Room. We've got an international break coming up, and that's 2 weeks with no Liverpool football. Liverpool first team football, at least. So subscribe, turn on the notifications. We'll have plenty of live content and videos for you to digest and consume at your leisure. It will be about transfer news in these last week or so of the January transfer window. Also looking ahead to the summer, of course. Plenty of debates about anything topical to Liverpool at the moment. On Friday, we had a debate about... No, it was yesterday. We had a debate about whether Jota is world class or not. I think a lot of Liverpool fans will just say he is, which is fair enough. But we try and have a good debate about it as well. We'll try to be as level-headed as we can. You can join in on those. Get your comments in the live chats for any of those debates, and get your opinions heard. By just pure Liverpool fans. And Klopp just having a word with Henderson. Henderson was in the bloody Carabao Cup team of the semi-finals. Curtis Jones wasn't. I think a lot of people were rightly bummed about. I mean, I don't think Jordan Henderson played bad, but I didn't notice him. And that's not a bad thing for how his form's been, that I didn't notice any mistakes or anything. But I mean, Jones played fantastically. He was so aggressive, going forward, looking to turn, keeping the ball in tricky situations. But he was completely ignored, which was just quite strange. And Henderson was put in his place, even though he's not a left centre mid. That's where he was put in the team. Tarek, hope you're well. And there we go. Proof is in the pudding. Tarek, one of our lovely regulars, says that the debate room last night about Diego Jota, is he world class or not, was boss. It was absolutely boss, Tar. So I can't say much more than that. You heard it. You heard it here first. So make sure that you subscribe so that we can all be a part of this lovely channel and lovely community that we've built here, and get involved. Ball into the box. My stream's just gone bloody blurry, but it's out for a Liverpool throw in. Matthias says we was going to have Werner, but we chose Chelsea. He chose Chelsea, so we got Jota. Dodged a bullet there and got the best deal. I think a lot of people were saying that was like a purposeful misdirection by Liverpool. Like, oh yeah, we're definitely going for Jota, for Werner, and then last minute, like kind of pulling out and going for our real target, which was Jota, because we were completely like unsighted with Jota. Not even any of us saw it coming. Like, I don't think there were any solid links until the week before he signed, kind of thing. Crystal Palace are coming forward here. They've got Edwards in the middle. Oh, Alisson. Oh my God. Okay, Edward was offside, but we're really struggling there, and Edward gets the shot off. And what a fantastic save from Alisson there. Just a solid hand, as you like. Denies what would have been disallowed anyway. But slightly worrying signs for Liverpool there. As I said, we need that second goal soon to quell any signs of a comeback here. And as I say that, we do win back possession high in the Crystal Palace half. Curtis Jones has it here. Now Henderson on this left-hand side. Jota finds himself on the wing, gets a cross in, or falls to the keeper. Nearly takes a deflection off the Crystal Palace defender, which could have put it anywhere. Dan, nice to see you. Liverpool will win today and will just be 9 points behind City, and we still have a game in hand. Afterwards, we face Leicester. So then, if we win both our games in hand, we're 6 points behind them. Man City, between now and the end of the season, how many points do we realistically think they're going to drop? The only other thing is, we've also got to face them in April. So we win that and assume we all win all our games. We're still then 3 points behind them in the latter part of the season. So I'm absolutely here for the belief, and I'm fully on board with it. We just need to just be sensible. Okay, a win here doesn't mean we're like back in it or anything like that. It's a long way to go, and ultimately, Man City just really aren't going to drop any points. They're not going to lose their next game. Man City, I'd love to see the stats on this, but when they drop points, 9 times out of 10, I feel like they go on and win their next game quite comfortably. I can't think of too many occasions where that hasn't happened. Lucas says, what would be a great end to the season for you? For me, it's top 4, Carabao Cup win, reaching the semi-final for the FA Cup and the UCL. Yeah, I agree with that. I think for it to be like definitely a success, we need 2 pieces of silverware. The Carabao Cup, we've just got to win that now. We're in the final. Be gutting if we lose that to Chelsea. And then the UCL, oh my God, number 7. Whew, don't get me started. And the FA Cup as well, you know. I'm not saying we will, but there's nothing stopping us putting together a treble this season. Absolutely nothing. If we've got our best players available and we play to the best that we've seen on numerous occasions, there's nothing to stop us getting a treble this season. And we're the only ones who can sort of ruin that for ourselves, really. It looks like Crystal Palace have changed formation since the game started. Well, they've had to. They're being absolutely mullered here in this first 25 minutes. Oh, Fabinho just wide. I keep going blurry. I can't quite keep up with it. Yeah, they were getting, as I said, battered. So they had to change something. Otherwise, it would have been could have been 2-3-0. Matthias says, for me, Carabao Cup and UCL wins would be awesome. Certainly would be. What is the biggest trophy to win? Premier League or the UCL? It depends what your lens is. I think, because at the end of the day, the UCL is a knockout tournament. So it's very much a game-to-game thing. So in that respect, it's not the hardest. And I know that sounds stupid because, like, you can't just turn up and win it. That's not what I mean. But do you know what I mean? Like, you could just have the rub of the green. You could play Bayern Munich. They could be missing a shit ton of players that day. They could just be a bit off it, and you could win. You could beat them, and suddenly you're through to the next round. Whereas over a league season, yeah, Tarek No, that's what I'm saying, really. The players will absolutely tell you, the majority of them, maybe not the English ones, will tell you that the UCL is the bigger one. And I kind of agree with that. Megan says, we're having a great season. Can't win everything every year. I'm happy with how we've been doing overall. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Man City have just raised the standards. And I don't mean that as a compliment to them, by the way. They've raised the standards of what is like a good season, what is a good points overall in the Prem. Any other season without them, this is like a bog standard title between Liverpool and Chelsea with like the points that we're on at the moment. But through, financial doping, having 3 squads of 3 squads worth of like world class players that they can just interchange without any negative effect. They've raised the standards, so you're looking at a 90 plus points to even be close to winning the league every season now. So it's just incredible. More jinx. Oh, corner. It's out for another corner. Jinx, Liverpool haven't lost or even drawn at Selhurst Park since 2014 with 7 wins in a row, including 7-0 thrashing of Palace on their last trip. And we all know what that bloody draw was at Selhurst Park. The gutting 3-3 draw when we were going for the goal difference and ended up blowing a 3-0 lead. Hits the first man, is through. Oh, doesn't fall to a Liverpool player and it's cleared. Trent. Oh, what a ball that could have been, but Fabinho intercepted it when it was meant for Firmino, I think. I don't know if he would have been offside, though. He gets a cross in. He's headed out. And we win it back again. But Crystal Palace come away with it in the end. Saw that one. Dan says 1 subscription equals 1 haircut for me. I'm due one. Just the sides, really. I'm trying to grow out the top. I've got my head tattoo, but you can't bloody see it anymore because the hair's grown over the top of it. So I will be getting one probably this week, I think. Cross is high from Henderson, falls to the back post with Firmino. Twisting and turning here. Oh, shout for another corner here. Matthias says, if we win the UCL, Louis, we'll both dye our beards red. How about that? Ooh. If you just get like the spray that you can just rinse off, then I'll do that on the night because I'll definitely be around for that. I would do that. I'd maybe dye it a more sensible color, but for work and stuff, I can't. I can't do it red as much as I'd love to. And Hughes might be on the break here, but Robertson does well to cut that out. And he lobs it. It's back with the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. It's been a quite fast game so far. I mean, we're already almost at a third of the way through. It's been quite good from us, I feel like. And a good pressure from Jones results in a Liverpool gaining possession via a throw-in. Possession won in the final third in 30 minutes. We've won it 7 times in there. I mean, this is our pressing football at its absolute best, isn't it? Something that we haven't always seen at its best this season. Crystal Palace feel aggrieved. They should have had a free kick in their own half, but they didn't get it. But they have the ball anyway. Oh, sick. Have you got a full-on Liverpool like shrine tattooed on you? That's mad. I might have to do something like that. I feel like I need to. It's about time. Maybe maybe I'll get a tattoo live on stream. I mean, it's just a shame that it's still 1-0, really. Like, we do need. We're playing this well. You need to start pulling away because you can't keep it up. Robertson, ball to the back post for Mino. Oh, Oxlade-Chamberlain, sorry. It's 2-0. It's another goal from him, crossed over, switch from Robertson. Something they've been working on, something they've been talking about quite openly. And that is another goal for Oxlade-Chamberlain. And it's another assist for Andy Robertson. I mean, what a ball. He's onside. It's a nice touch from Oxlade-Chamberlain, but again, he's in miles of space. That Crystal Palace defending has been pretty poor so far. So that's his 8th. That's Robertson's 8th assist, if I'm correct. Lovely stuff. Shoot laid, got his goal. He certainly did. We just need Shooterson to get one now. I mean, to be fair to him, he did work the position well, even though he was left in way too much room by the Crystal Palace defence. But we don't mind that. It's 2-0 and much more comfortable now. Oh, that's sick. I need to get something Liverpool related. I've got the 96 on my finger, actually. That's the one I do have. Yep, Hyler's prediction is well on its way now. 2/5 of the way. And Tarek says that's surprisingly amazing from Ox. He made a brilliant call for the ball and was in a good position. Yep, 2 things we don't normally expect from him. And Robertson, again, he's been bloody sensational, hasn't he? Well, quietly brilliant, I think we'll call it. As this season has progressed. And that's what Ox needs to do more often, not blasting it from distance with no hope of it going in. Exactly. I mean, he's had his attempt already in this game from outside the box, so hopefully that's him done, and he'll just stick to taking up positions like that. And hopefully remaining unmarked. Trent Alexander-Arnold's offside there. If you are new, obviously make sure you subscribe to the LFC Transfer Room, but do also follow me on Twitter at LouisF862, just underneath me on my name. Trying to get back into it. I've been on Twitter for bloody ages, but I hardly tweeted, so I'm trying to get back into it. I'll certainly keep everyone updated with whenever I go live for watch-alongs, etc. Coming forward again here. Not quite able to keep hold of it, though. So that's back-to-back goals from Ox in the Prem. I mean, I'd like to know when the last time that happened. I mean, we've got to be proud of this team without Salah and Mane, and some of our most important players like Thiago as well. They've really stepped up to it in these last few games and proven that they're a side to watch out for, even without three major components. It's good stuff. No, I've never quite understood Discord, but I know it's a growing thing. I probably should try and get into it. It might be a good thing for the LFC transfer room to look into. Hyla says, it seems like Palace have put a lot of resources on denying Liverpool the right side. Trent doing what they usually do, but did Palace forget that Liverpool also have a left side? Well, that's the beauty of wide overloads. You know, you can't cover both of them. As Palace come forward here, Gallagher with a poor touch in the middle of the box, and Alisson's able to retain the ball. But still, you know, they're getting the odd chance here and there. And if they were a bit more clinical, they could be well in this game. So still not over. Never is, but it's definitely still not over. I mean, Conor Gallagher, if he could control the ball, he would have had a free shot on goal there from close range. Crystal Palace fans, you just sense are starting to get frustrated here, not only with their team, but with the officials as well, not giving them too many decisions. Curtis Jones here. He's had a really good first half again. Coming back from his eye injury, he's looked so sharp. One of our best players. Certainly. Whoa! Oh, headed back from the Crystal Palace defender into the arms of the keeper. Gallagher is Chelsea property. Quite scary to sell all those good loanees from Chelsea at other teams. Enough to have another team in the Prem. Well, you know, there are, I don't mean this sarcastically, but there are levels to this game. So he'll look good in a Palace team that aren't always going to be dominating games. Games can be quite end-to-end. Fits in with him being a box-to-box midfielder. But in a Chelsea team under Thomas Tuchel, he'll be looking to be controlling games and having teams penned back in their own half most of the time. And just through sheer quality, that is what would happen most of the time. I just don't know if that plays into Conor Gallagher's strengths, really. You know, he needs a fast moving game, and you won't always get that with a top four team. Yeah, I must admit I haven't been following Arsenal fan TV for a while. Had a few controversial figures. Oh my god. Oh, it's another save from Alisson there from Eze. And Robertson gets it clear. I mean, he's completely through there. They are finding space behind us. I'm not a fan of it. Another 2 or 3 goals would go a long way to settling those nerves. Yeah, absolutely. They're falling asleep slightly here. This game is absolutely not over. And Alisson ends up with the ball. But yeah, for half time or another goal would be quite nice about now. So Palace seem to be ending this half on a little bit more of a high, maybe. Unless we can do something to silence that. just looking to slow down the game, which is probably the smart thing to do. Just passing it around the back, and Palace not too keen at the moment to press for fear that we'll just pass right through them. But we give it away there clumsily. And now Edouard is through. He'll get a shot away. Oh! I thought that was in. It's a corner. He dribbles around the keeper. And he should score, really. It's a bit of a tight angle. But I think Van Dijk might get the deciding touch that just lures it away from the goal. No. So it's the goalkeeper. It's another save from Alisson, essentially, because that would have been going in, I'm sure. They'll get a corner here, which they'll put in now. Slightly worrying for Liverpool here. And it's big header away from Firmino. Back out to this left-hand side, but would have been offside, so we settled for the throw-in instead. So, yeah, just under 3 minutes left. Shouldn't be too much added time, I don't think. But we could do with half-time about now. Clean sheet would be a nice touch as well. And struggling to keep hold of the ball a little bit now. So get down that tunnel. Get words from Jurgen. Robertson plays it back to the keeper with Edouard chasing, but he does get it clear. Now it's with the Crystal Palace keeper, and he clears. Coming forward now with Curtis Jones, who, as I said, maybe man of the half, although Robertson does have those 2 assists. Let me know who your man of the half is. Always a important thing, I think, to give credit where credit's due. And Van Dijk and Matip just struggling slightly to deal with Edouard there. And it's safe to say we have lost control of this half now. So the sooner we can get in, change things, solid things up a little bit, the better. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if Crystal Palace had started like this, it would have been a totally different game. But they started trying to keep us out. And before they knew it, it was 2-0 to Liverpool. And now they've just got to play catch-up. So there's, as Hyla said, there's 1 minute of added time. We're halfway through that already. So there shouldn't be anything major happening between now and then. Avi says this game is going to be controlled by the referees. Well, it is half-time. It is now half-time. Liverpool go in 2 goals to the good against Crystal Palace, thanks to a pretty easy header for Van Dijk to convert. And then another beautiful cross from Andy Robertson, who's notched up 2 assists, putting in Oxlade-Chamberlain on the far post, who was able to take a touchdown with his chest and slot home to make it 2-0 to Liverpool. At that point, it looked like we were flying. However, Palace have grown into this game as it's gone on. Managed to hold them out for this first half. So it's important that we get back in at half time, solid things up a little bit, maybe tweak something. I don't think there'll be any substitutions, but just need to reassert control again. Maybe another goal, just sort of put Palace back in their place somewhat. Adam, hello. Didn't get the notification. I got the notification that Ox scored from my phone. I realised I was missing another game. Well, I've got you sorted out. Have you got the... I'm curious, because there's a couple of people who have said that now. Have you got the bell notification ticked? Because if you do, then you don't have to worry about missing it. YouTube will let you know through your phone, hopefully. But it doesn't matter. It's just good to see you. Nonetheless, I hope you're doing well, Adam. So at halftime, 65% possession with Liverpool, 8 shots, 3 on target, 2 goals. So good conversion rate for Liverpool. Something that we struggled to see a couple of weeks ago. And Avi says, I'll be back to get my breakfast. It's 8:48 a.m. That is dedication. I love it. A good first half. Keep it up. Liverpool. Yeah, keep up the first 30 minutes. Maybe after the second goal, just started to shift slightly. So Gary would like to see Gordon make an appearance in the second half. I think if we get another goal or two, then that would certainly be an option for Jurgen. No need to risk too many of the first teamers for too long if we can secure the points relatively quickly in the second half. But, I mean, for large parts of that game, I was impressed with us. I think we have done well. But Alisson, again, with some fantastic saves to keep us in the controlling position that we find ourselves in. So it's always a team effort. So let me know how you're feeling, everybody. Good stuff. So hopefully that works, and you shouldn't miss them. Gary says Jones was the best in the first half. I have to agree, and I think for the last couple of weeks he's been one of, if not our best on-field performers, which is great to see. Hylas says there's something super off the books with Matip. Yeah, he's chaotic at times, isn't he? But in a good way. He's not Mamadou Sakho chaotic. He's chaotic in a good way most of the time. Maybe not his... To be fair, he hasn't been at his absolute best these last 2 or 3 games. But as I said, he is overdue an injury. So I think these 2 weeks off were doing good. As long as... I don't know if he's going off anywhere. Adam says, I read the headline that Kelleher is starting in the final. Good to see he's earned it. You think Alisson and Kelleher will split league and tourney spots from here on? I think we need to, because there's been a lot of talk about Kelleher recently from Liverpool pundits, goalkeepers, goalkeepers union and all that stuff. Talking about, Kelleher is a good goalkeeper and he needs to play football. So whether he should look elsewhere for that. But we need a number 2 as well. And he's one of the best number 2s that we've had in years. So reliable. He's barely put a foot wrong. I really think we should try and keep hold of him for as long as possible. And the only way you do that with a goalkeeper is you give them as many games as you can. So that means staying in these competitions as well. Like, I fully expect him to be the FA Cup keeper as well. So the longer we stay in that, the more game time he'll get, the happier he'll be. So no, I do think that's what it should be, and I really do want to keep hold of him as well. It's gives me much more confidence seeing him starting than Adrian. I really hope we never have to see Adrian in goal for Liverpool again, as harsh as that feels to say. In both the other games, Arsenal and the Leicester games, no goals at all. Anthony's particularly happy with Robertson and Jones. Certainly both been performing extremely well, not just in this game, but in recent times. Alisson as well, as I said, made several key saves to keep us well in this game. And Gary says Liverpool must go for the throat in the second half. Absolutely. The quicker we can get another goal or two and curb off any improvement from Crystal Palace, the better. And he's the best in the world when it comes to saving one-on-ones. So, Alisson, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I wasn't even like I've got so much trust in Alisson when it comes to these one-on-ones that I wasn't particularly worried at any point. I know that's easy to say in hindsight, but who's Adrian? Hyla says Alisson, man in the first half for me. He makes very difficult things look easy. I mean, that's the best way to describe him, isn't it? Has kept us safe. It's almost good that Crystal Palace started turning up at the end of that first half, because now we know a bit more what they're about coming into the second half, and we can prepare accordingly at half time with a few more minutes to go of half time, and then we'll get cracking for the second half. Yeah, I think it is weird that he does that, because that has been like maybe his only weakness at times is when he's put under severe pressure. Sometimes he can crack, only sometimes. So sometimes, yeah, I do wish he would just hurry up with those. I adore Firmino, but he loses the ball cheaply far more than he used to. Almost give to Palace a goal there. Matty really sloppy too. Well, we just got to hope that they can sort it out and get their heads together at half time and go again. Thoughts on Shoot Lade's performance? I mean, he's looked good. Got his goal. Kris will be absolutely creaming himself, I'm sure. For me, still doesn't mean he has a long-term future at Liverpool. That's as much as I'll say on that. I'm just going to refill my water before second half gets underway. So we are literally like 4 or 5 minutes from the second half. So I'll be back in just 1 second. Just go refill my water bottle. Oh, and I'm back. Levels, innit? Oh, speed demon. It's the benefits of living in a one-bed flat. Everything's within like arm's distance. Yes, it should be. Sorry, this one should be Thiago and Elliot back as well after the international break, which is just fantastic, isn't it? Just need to sit back a bit. I'm leaning forward this whole time. If you are new, please make sure you subscribe. It's a great place. It's going to be a long 2 weeks before our next game. And we'll have all the content you need to get you through it. Transfer news, debates, Liverpool news in general. We've got it all. So make sure you subscribe to the LFC Transfer Room. We've broken 2.1 thousand followers in the last few days, which again is absolutely fantastic. And thank you so much to everybody who does continue to subscribe. It's a good place to be. If you're joining us now, you know, you're joining us in our infancy. You'll be one of the OGs. Yeah, in a few years' time, we're leading content creators for Liverpool news, Liverpool transfer news, etc., etc. You get to be here from the very start. How cool is that? Hyla, shush, man. You're putting us out of a job. Yeah, I'll give you that. For January, there's not much going on, but there's always stuff there's always stuff underneath that's going on that will shape our future. All right? So keep the faith. Thank you, Anthony. Enjoy the second half. So, of course, after this, part of Super Sunday, it is Chelsea versus Tottenham up next, which should be a good game. I'll definitely be watching that. And they're saying that apparently Dele Alli might not be part of the squad today. Interesting stuff. I mean, what a fall from grace he's had the past few years. Absolute golden boy at one point, and now struggling to break into Tottenham's 11, which really isn't the best in the league at all. Tottenham must have a few boys at the AFCON as well, so they haven't even got like a full squad, unless I'm really wrong on that. So the fact he still can't get in would be a massive worry for him going forward in his career. Are there any changes anyone would make at this point? I can't think of anything that needs to happen. I'm in the same boat as some of you. I'd like to see Gordon maybe get a few minutes. Minamino has to come on at some point as well. Adam, do you think Klopp could turn him around? Dele Alli, I don't know. From everything that we've seen and heard, Dele Alli's just quite lazy, isn't he? Lazy in training, and that just wouldn't run. Mourinho said it, and Mourinho's style of football isn't exactly all out. So imagine under Klopp, that level throughout 90 minutes. So yeah, it would take some conversation. I mean, Klopp is a magician with man management, but to convince Dele Alli to run around and put his all in for 90 minutes. Don't know. Maybe it can be done. I don't know. What do we think of the new setup, by the way? Sorry to be vain, but I am sat down now. Got a new camera, proper lighting. I like standing up, but I feel a bit more relaxed sitting down. I feel I can talk a bit more for some reason. Bit stupid, I know, but I've got a green screen as well, but I'm yet to have enough time to sort of figure out the best way to use it because I'm limited with my space. So the positioning of it is always a little bit weird, but I don't know if I even need a green screen. There's a lot of graphics going on anyway, but it's an ongoing process, and I'm still figuring out the best way to do it. So we're underway. So the time is 20 seconds behind my stream, so ignore that. Actually, wait. So that we are proper, I'll 46, and when we get to 46, we'll carry on. Apologies for that. Talking about my own shit. Palace coming forward here. They're going to get something away. Oh, it's just wide. It must have taken a touch from Liverpool there. It was out wide, sorry. God, there was 2 Palace players waiting inside the 6-yard box to just get something on it. I don't know how they didn't. Lucky stuff. We do that. Oh, that's better. Can't see my kitchen anymore. That's what we like to see. Or we don't like to see, sorry. And I can do that as well, actually. Bring that down slightly. It's better. Gotta make sure the framing's all good. Look, more of a cozy feel makes you feel approachable in conversations like we're talking football in the breakfast nook. Love it. That's what we like to hear. Oh my god, how is it? How is it not 2-1? I mean, we've started dreadfully here, and Crystal Palace right on top. And how Alisson has saved that, that's unbelievable. Edouard is 4 yards out maximum, back heels it, and Alisson still gets down to save it. And it had still had some power on it. It's a dreadful start for Liverpool here. It's all very last ditch here for Liverpool. And Alisson very quickly working his way up the rankings of our best performers in this game. So that's 3-4 crucial saves. At the moment, it seems it's all coming from Matip's side, Matip's men. He's not having his best game. And you're right, Adam. You know, it's hard to argue that Alisson has single-handedly kept us in front in this game. Yeah, at this rate, it could be another Selhurst Park capitulation, and I'm not even a particularly pessimistic fan, but we need to change something here pretty quickly. We've got a ball into the box here for Liverpool this time, luckily. I think it's Oxlade-Chamberlain who has it out on this left-hand side. Oh, no, it's Firmino, sorry. Twisting and turning. Matthias, Crystal Palace have come out very strongly in the second half, and Alisson Becker has single-handedly kept us at 2-0 here. The crucial save, but it's not looking too good for us at this moment in time. We're in the box here, and it's cleared for a throw-in only. Thought it could have been a corner. We've been sleeping, really. Caught napping. Conor Gallagher's picked up a yellow card. So still 0-0 Arsenal v Burnley. I mean, Burnley have got like 5 games in hand on the relegation battle. So they could be bloody mid-table if they win all of them. Unlikely, but they're by no means out of it yet. Adam says, footballers are given take in possession. We pull them into thinking they could sneak by Alisson, then we counter. Damn. Hyla says, Alisson easily top 3 goalkeepers in the world at any given time. So pretty easy to rank him as world class. Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's many people who disagree with that, surely. Otherwise, you don't know ball. Adam says, I honestly thought with Mane and Salah at still AFCON, we wouldn't see 3-0, 2-0 results, but these boys can play, can't they? Well, they were for the first half an hour. Not for the past 20, 25 minutes, they haven't. Gary Richards says, target Conor Gallagher. He's on a yellow. The Lightning is a mint sun. I mean, we're not that kind of team, and I'm glad about that. We're not Atletico Madrid who will go after a player because we think we can get him sent off. And obviously, if the challenge is made, we'll appeal for it. There's a ball into the box here. Henderson! Oh! Wide for the skipper. I mean, he could certainly do with a goal. It's a nice take from the skipper. He's on the turn. Just can't quite get the direction on the ball. Gary, let's give him a bit of leeway. It wasn't a massive chance. I wouldn't call it a absolutely had to score. He does pretty well with it. He's on the turn. On the turn with players all around you is never easy. Don't care who you are. So for someone who's not used to scoring goals, it's not a bad effort. Henderson's shot again. This time hits Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's adjudged to not be offside, apparently. Adam says, Louis, I could not agree more. Suarez was fun for a time, but I love football best when the referees aren't even engaged. And I think that's another big part of Klopp's legacy, because I'm positive that he's instilled into his group of players that we don't harass the referee. Like that's not just a rule; it's like something that he actively enforces. You can have a conversation with the referee at halftime, full time. Oh, Edouard's onside. He sweated it, and it's 2-1. Just what we didn't need to happen. We're only on 54 minutes as well. Crystal Palace has been absolutely on top so far, and they get It's only what they deserve as well. He was definitely onside there. Miles onside. Matip trying to push up, but Van Dijk wasn't on the same wavelength. Oh, that's Matip really should have kept following the man. And we've struggled to deal with Edouard all game. So now we do have a proper tie on our hands. There will be no 5-0 win here. It is going to be a tough one. So you would expect some changes now. I mean, I think Matip probably needs to come off at this point. Terence, that's got to be a joke, right? Like, tell me you are joking. You can say he's had a shaky couple of games, and I agree with you. But he's been arguably our best defender up until this point. So I'm going to assume that you're having a bit of a giggle with me there. Can't mean that. I mean, Palace are just all over us now. That's what happens when you don't. That's what happens when you don't finish off a game when you've got the chance. When you're in the ascendancy, you got to create and take your chances. And they're in again here. Henderson manages to get it away. Jota loses it though. They'll get a chance to strike. Oh my god, just wide. We got to sort out our shit here because this is quickly descending into chaos, which we don't need. Way too easy for Anderson to get his shot away there. And it's about a foot wide. They're absolutely buzzing now. We got to change something up here. I don't think we've got a stockpile. We've got Kanate, who's in his first season, still blending in and is only in his early 20s. We've got Gomez, who's got a terrible injury record, still in his early 20s. And to be fair, doesn't look that great. I think him and Van Dijk being the best partnership was a bit of a myth, really. Gomez has got good recovery pace. And at this point in his career, that's about it. He's not better than Joel Matip. You bring Joe Gomez on now, it's the same result. Joe Gomez doesn't keep it at 2-1. I think that's a really bizarre thing to say. I mean, you sell him, then we've only got 3 fit starting centre backs. As much as I adore Nat Phillips, he's not. He just isn't, is he? He can't be. We're a bigger club than that. As much as I bloody love him, and I want to see him start alongside Virgil van Dijk. Koundé, I think, is going to Chelsea because they're going to lose. They're going to lose what Christensen, Thiago Silva's incredibly old, and Rudiger as well is not signing, so they're going to be short. And Kund has been on their radar for ages. I think he's going to go to them. There hasn't been anything concrete with Kund with us for a while. So Oxlade-Chamberlain makes way, and Minamino does come on. The Carabao Cup king. Can he move that form over into the Prem? So Klopp, at least acknowledging that we can't try and hold out. We need to go. We need to get on the front foot again, which is promising. Because I wouldn't trust us to try and sit on a 2-1 lead for 30 bloody minutes. We haven't shown we can do that really. When a team is this sort of up for it. So Liverpool have a free kick right out on the left-hand side here. Andy Robertson will put it into the box. Doesn't really beat the first man, which is a shame. Goes out for a throw-in. Very close to the corner flag. Again on this left-hand side. Robertson goes high. They're struggling to keep hold of this. Firmino might get onto it here. Oh, it's cleared. Unlucky there. And he's back with Trent now. Plays a hopeful ball forward, to say the least, and it ends up back with the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Adam, I don't think Klopp would bring on the young'uns in this situation. As much as I wouldn't mind that, but yeah, I imagine we'll see Canate and or Milner pretty soon. Because even though he wants to be on the front foot, we need to get fresh legs on to deal with this, because they're right up for it and they're winning the second balls a lot more now. Yeah, exactly. I almost thought for a second he might start again, but I can't see him getting any minutes now with the game the way it is. I mean, we're not going to pull away quickly or anytime soon from based on this opening 20 minutes in the second half. Will Hughes seems to be injured here, so he might be heading off, which isn't a bad thing because he's quite a zippy player, isn't he? But if you are new here, please make sure you subscribe. 1 subscription equals or 1 goal for Liverpool in this game, which we need. We need to pull away from this lot quickly because it's going to be a tough 25 minutes. if it stays at 2-1. So 1 subscription equals 1 more goal for the Reds in this game. So let's get on it, people. There must be a second or third substitution must be coming soon, unless he's going to wait for, the 72nd minute or something like that. Playing it around to the back. Just need to try and keep hold of the ball for a bit. I'm not worried too much about attacking intent. Just try and keep hold of the ball. Slow things down. Get the crowd quiet. I mean, losing the ball doesn't do that at all. Now Crystal Palace have it in their back four. They're coming forward again here. The ball's slightly too long, and we can see it out for a goal kick. I'm not feeling confident right now. This could go either way. You don't win titles playing like this. That's for sure. So it's a substitution for Palace here. So Edouard coming off, actually. So that's bloody good for us, because he's been a pain in the backside. And Eze's coming on. Bloody hell, I thought he was on already. I thought he'd started. My bad. Yeah, Hyla makes a good point that Wilfred Zaha and Kiarte are at AFCON at the minute, so it's good job with that, thank God. I don't know why they're taking Edouard off, unless he's looking knackered, but he's been their biggest bloody threat. I am thinking positive, Avi. I'm one of the most positive Liverpool fans. I'm not a doubter. I am a believer. I'm just nervous. That's all. Same as Ali. It was still just a Crystal Palace are getting all the second balls here. And we've got a free kick now, actually, so that's all right. I don't know. I have no idea how this game's going to go now. I don't know if there's going to be another goal. If there is, who's going to get it? Got no idea. Free kick into the box, even though there's nobody there. Now Leicester on the break. Going to come forward here. Eze's on the left wing. It's into the box. Got to be careful here. And it's a goal kick. If there's something we need by the end of spring, it's a player or coach that can come up with reliable set piece scoring plays. Well, to be fair, I think we've got one of the best set piece records. It's tough because I know how frustrating it can be to watch our set pieces at times, because a lot of the times they will just bounce off the first man. But it's a very narrow window that we're aiming for. You hit it slightly too low, and it will hit the first man. Slightly too high, and it will just fly over everybody. But if you get it right, you get goals more often than not. And as I said, we do have one of the best set piece records this season. But it is hard. I agree. It's hard to kind of notice that, because we get a lot of free kicks and corners, and a lot of them bounce off the first man or nothing really comes of them. We're coming forward here. Trent has a bit of space down the right. Henderson's coming out to help him. Can't quite get his pass through. On the second attempt, he does, and Henderson puts in a very high ball. We haven't heard much about José in this game. He was the main man on Thursday, but maybe just a bit of fatigue there. It's a lot of football for him. I'm sure he's loving it, but performance-wise, very quiet so far today. See if he can do something. Henderson puts another ball in, which isn't very good either. So we win the ball. Looking slightly better here. Oh, Fabinho's effort saved. It's simple enough for the goalkeeper, but a good strike nonetheless. We're looking a little bit better these last 2-3 minutes. Not saying much, but this is where we need the ball to be in Crystal Palace's half. These last 18 minutes or so. Now they do have it, and they are coming up along the left-hand side. Will Hughes, who looked like he might have been having some injury problems, does appear to be fine and still on the pitch. Eze's all over the place. He was on the left, and now he's on the right. Conor Gallagher handball by the looks of things. So that breaks up that Crystal Palace attack, and we get the ball again. Just want like a laid back stream, Brentford was okay. Liverpool play living a bit dangerously at the back here, but we do get it away. So now we're out on the right with Trent. Can he do some magic? Plays in Henderson, who can play it along the 6-yard box. Doesn't do so. And they're able to get it clear. It's a nasty fall there for a Crystal Palace player, jumping over the top of Curtis Jones. Kind of falls awkwardly on his head, really. And rightfully stopped pretty quickly there by the referee. And look, I absolutely agree. It has been a nervy display from Matip, and he hasn't been at his best for a couple of games. But I need to stress this, and I'm not pointing out you, Hyla, but I've seen a few people on Twitter as well in this game, and a couple in the comments. Players are allowed to have a few bad games. They're allowed to have loads of bad games, really. A lot of recency bias goes on with like football punditry. For 90% of our season so far, Matip has been arguably our best defender. With Van Dijk getting back up to speed with things after his injury. Still brilliant, but Matip really stood up to the role, took control, and has been fantastic. He's allowed to have a few bad games, and don't get me wrong, we as fans are absolutely allowed to criticise. Doesn't mean doesn't mean he's not it. We need to sell him. He's finished. You know, we ask for loyalty in football. We say loyalty's dead from players, clubs, managers, owners. But I think we need to get back to showing some as fans as well. Same with Sadio Mane. I understand if you think maybe we should cash in on him. That's a fairly reasonable argument. But to suggest that he's finished, shouldn't start. Who else was there? Joel Matip now, obviously. Some people were saying it about Andy Robertson as well. I will happily criticise Joel Matip's performance today. He has looked very uneasy. Hasn't filled me with great confidence. Maybe he needs to spell out on the side because he's played a lot of football, a lot more football than he has played in the last few seasons. He's probably fatigued. Get Canate in, give him some more game time. And then whenever things change, if there's an injury or a suspension, Matip will come back in and I'm sure we'll see a different player again. You know? Adam, someone was saying Ox was suspect for some of the games back there. So I presume you're talking about me, and that is a fair comment to make. But I will stress that there's a massive difference between what I think about Ox. Oh my God, Robertson almost scoring an own goal there. And Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's not been his fault, but combined with his injuries and just not being a world-class midfielder, he hasn't been at the level that Liverpool require at this point in our journey for a while. And I just don't think that he's good enough and hasn't been for a while. I think even when he played well in that season, when we first got to the Champions League final and obviously had those amazing games against Man City, I think his style of football just doesn't necessarily suit us. And I just wouldn't be sad if we decided to cash in on him. I don't think he's shown enough for me to need to be loyal to him necessarily. But you might have a different take on that, and that's absolutely fine. There's just over 10 minutes left now. Hyla says, I really call out for someone's head, but tactical decisions in-game strategy is important if you see players drop off. Again, that's absolutely fine. Game to game, someone's not up to scratch, take them off, go for it. Criticise them, absolutely. Suggest they're finished. Try to pretend that you thought the whole time that they weren't up to scratch. Again, not saying that's what you were doing, but some people on Twitter and in the fan base in general. So just a little bit embarrassing. Because when he was playing well, I guarantee you were all cheering him on, saying how brilliant he is, saying we've got the 2 best centre-backs in the league, etc., etc. So, but rant over. Good vibes only. I just had to get that off my chest, you know? Megan says, I'm happy Ox has had a few good games, but I don't see him being good enough to stay in our team. Excuse me. He's a squad player when not injured, almost never sees game time. Yeah. I thought we should have moved him on a year or 2 ago. It pretty much sums up my position as well. If all our players are fit, he doesn't get near the starting 11. A bit of proper investment as well. He never makes the bench either. And whilst he's on the pitch, I obviously support him 100%. Don't get me wrong. And I'm happy he scored 2 goals in 2 Premier League games as well. Fantastic. Sorry, Matthias, if they got a little bit serious, but I just saw a few things from a few people, not necessarily on this stream, about Matty, and just thought it was a bit off. I had to have my 6 pence on it. And with Henderson, yeah, look, I agree. Maybe at this point, if we had other players available, he wouldn't be in the starting 11. I agree with that. But every single season without fail, there'll be a point where everyone says he's world class, one of the best centre backs we've got, centre mid, sorry, should be starting every game. It is key to how we play. And then another point when results aren't going our way, he becomes a really easy scapegoat. Shouldn't be anywhere near our starting 11, should sell him, etc., etc. Oh, it's another fine Alisson save off the line there. And they're just getting closer and closer. Almost chipped over him, but he was alert to it and got back on his line nice and quickly. And it is a Liverpool, Crystal Palace corner, sorry. Just not looking confident at all at this point. Need a big, resilient 8 minutes here, plus whatever's added on. They're coming forward again here. Well, I'm talking about, and it's an interesting point because I think some people do feel that way, but just lost my train of thought there. Just bear with me a second. It's a stressful game and it's starting to show. I'm not talking about loyalty for loyalty's sake. I'm talking about loyalty for people who, over long, very, very long stretches, have played fantastically and have been key to us, and then go through a bad patch, however long it is. José has a chance to score here. He's brought down by the keeper. Referee's not interested at all. I doubt that will get looked at by VAR. It won't be overturned, at least, anyway. I mean, really, the keeper just can't do that. If that happens, they will look at it, but they won't overturn it. And I'm not too aggrieved if they don't, to be honest. They're looking at it longer than I thought they would, to be fair. This will be jammy, to be fair. If we get this, there's going to be uproar from not only Crystal Palace, but most clubs in the Premier League. Live VAR pool is going to be right back on the timeline again. I think they're now just checking if Jota's on side here, and he is. I think that means they're going to give it. If that's all they're looking at, I don't think this should. To be fair, I think this is a very harsh penalty. I think they're going to give it. So it's weird. They've looked at it a million times. Then they've looked at the offside or not. They're going to make him check the monitor. Well, a lot of people say that means he's going to give it, but I don't know. Yeah, same, Megan. I won't complain, but it'll be hard to argue with anybody else that it should have been overturned. I mean, Carragher's making the point that the ball's too far away, but that can't play into anything. You can't. It doesn't matter where the ball is. You can't foul somebody. Oh, he's given it. He's given a penalty. Oh, dear. Ooh. So, massive chance for Liverpool to seal the deal. Looks like Fabinho's run straight up to the ball here. So Fabinho is holding the ball. I'm not going to look at the chat. So he's got a decent record. Has Fab. Trying so hard not to look at the chat right now because I'm sure someone's said if he scored or not. We win if he scores this, we win the game pretty much. Fabinho steps up. Yes, come on. Oh my God. We can all take a sigh. No pressure, no problem for Fabinho there. Cool as you like. Coolest customer. And that should be that. Sends the keeper the wrong way. And that is 3-1 to Liverpool now, away at Crystal Palace, overcoming a second half onslaught there from Palace. And surely now it is too late for any sort of comeback here. Crystal Palace will be rightly aggrieved, and I think it isn't too unfair to call us quite lucky for that penalty. But no club complains if that's them, so why should we? And James Milner comes on to replace Firmino for these last couple of minutes. So there might be 4 or 5 minutes of added time now with that. Palace are bloody on the front foot still here. If they get one now, it will be squeaky bum time. There's 6 minutes of added time. It's not over just yet. And Joe Gomez will come on now. For Trent. So he'll be going to right back. So we're already a minute through added time here. 6 minutes. Crystal Palace are in our half. They have another throw in. Oh. So let me know who your player of the match is. I think it's got to be Alisson at this point. It'd be tough to argue otherwise. And the Crystal Palace captain Ward picks up a yellow card. I think just for protesting. But yeah, let me know who your man of the match is. Oh. What a bloody game again. So we just never make things easy on ourselves, do we? Someone said that's not a penalty. That's a Man United penalty. I love that. So we're now halfway through added time. I think everyone in the chat is pretty much under the agreement that it is Alisson for man of the match. And I must agree, he's absolutely kept us in this game when it could have easily... The result could have easily flipped on us quite quickly in the second half. I mean, not even a draw. I think it could have easily turned into a potential defeat for us. And Avi, being his optimistic self, I said, I'd give the whole team that was on the pitch the man of the match. It takes a team. Let's go, Liverpool. I do admire the spirit. And Jota gives the ball away cheaply. What should have been a simple back pass to Gomez. Crystal Palace have it now. Coming up to just 1 minute left now. And Alisson collects calmly and coolly as you like. was the Arsenal-Liverpool Burnley game finished 0-0. God. I mean, Arteta, is he really the big deal? So Burnley, with many games in hand, get a quite big draw, I guess, against the top half of the table team. Minamino's through here. Tries a silky back heel, which would have put Henderson in. And that is full time, though. It's not to be another goal. But we made a right meal out of it, being 2-0 up inside half an hour. But we do come away with a 3-1 victory in the end, thanks to a Fabinho penalty. Somewhat dubious decision. I think a lot of people from the Crystal Palace camp would be rightfully aggrieved with it. I mean, to be fair, if it was given against us, we'd be absolutely up in arms with it. Palace players still appealing now. It won't do them any good. But another tough game, which maybe didn't need to be one. However, the players are still doing us proud, still picking up points. We've still got a game in hand on City, who are now 9 points behind. We're also 4 points clear of Chelsea now, who play after this game. So we'll see what happens there. But that is the watch-along's done for 2 weeks now, and that is the games for Liverpool finished for 2 weeks now as an international break. So there'll be nothing match-related this week or next week. But that is why you need to hang around the LFC transfer room, because we'll have plenty of content to make up for that. We'll have transfer news daily. We'll have debates plenty of times throughout the week. For those who watched any of our debates previously, you know how good they can be. And it's great to have you guys in the comments giving your opinions, as you have been doing throughout this stream as well. So any news that comes up will be on it like a shot. So next up is Chelsea versus Tottenham. So I'll be going along to watch that. I'm sure many of you will be as well. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching and again being in the comments as well. Really, really nice to see again this lovely little community that we've got. So thank you to Hyla, Gary, Adam, Ali, Megan, Matthias, Avi. Just trying to think if there's anyone else I've missed. Tarek as well, of course. Welshie, Chewy, Lucas, everybody who's been in the comments. It's great to see you all. Thank you very much for your support, and everybody who was just watching as well. Absolutely lovely to have you. So this has been the LFC transfer and watch along as it finishes Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 3. Thank you very much for watching and being involved, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.